have awakened the gods of old. We rise from our slumber to reveal our true power. Focus fire. Now to strike. These mortals have awakened the gods of old. We rise from our slumber to reveal our true power. Focus fire. Now to strike.
Damn. I feel like I did a good job with that one. Lining up everything, I don't know, just kinda, it fits really well. I like it. Obviously, it'll be added on to halfway through the season. But until then, that's where we're at. That's the new intro video. Took me a minute, but we got there. Alright, let me pull up some stuff, because we're going over the Ottoman Byzantine Wars. That's right, we're gonna get into some good stuff. Give me just a second. Bam! Look at that. Look at that. Welcome in. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's get started with some Byzantine Empire, also referred to as the Eastern Roman Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire centered in Constantinople during late antiquity and the Middle Ages. The eastern half of the empire survived the conditions that caused the fall of the West in the 5th century AD and continued to exist until the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire in 1453. During most of its existence, the empire remained most powerful economic, cultural, and military force in the Mediterranean world. The term Byzantine Empire was only coined following the empire's demise. Its citizens referred to the polity as the Roman Empire and to themselves as Romans, due to the imperial seat's move from Rome to Byzantium, the adoption of the state Christianity, and the predominance of Greek instead of Latin. Modern historians continue to make a distinction between earlier Roman Empire and the later Byzantine Empire. This is a woodcut of Constantinople, by the way. During the earlier Pax Romana period, the western parts of the empire became increasingly Latinized, while the eastern parts largely retained their pre-existing Hellenistic culture. This created a dichotomy between the Greek East and Latin West. These cultural spheres continued to diverge after Constantine I moved the capital to Constantinople and legalized Christianity. Under Theodosius I, Christianity became the state religion, and other religions practices were prescribed. Greek gradually replaced Latin for official use as Latin fell into disuse. The empire experienced several cycles of decline and recovery throughout its history, reaching its greatest extent after the fall of the West during the reign of Justinian I, who briefly reconquered much of Italy and the western Mediterranean coast. The appearance of plague and a devastating war with Persia exhausted the empire's resources. The early Muslim conquests that followed saw the loss of the empire's richest provinces, Egypt and Syria, to the Rashidun Caliphate. In 698, Africa was lost to the Umayyad Caliphate, but the empire subsequently stabilized under Isaurian dynasty. The empire was able to expand once more under the Macedonian dynasty, experiencing a 2-century-long renaissance. This came to an end in 1071 with the defeat by the Seljuk Turks at the Battle of Manzikert. Thereafter, periods of civil war and Seljuk incursions resulted in the loss of most of Asia Minor. The empire recovered during the Komnenian Restoration, and Constantinople would remain the largest and wealthiest city in Europe until the 13th century. The empire was largely dismantled in 1204 following the sack of Constantinople by Latin armies at the end of the Fourth Crusade. Its former territories were then divided into competing Greek rump states and Latin realms. Despite the eventual recovery of Constantinople in 1261, the reconstituted empire would wield only regional power during its final 2 centuries of existence. Its remaining territories were progressively annexed by the Ottomans in perennial wars fought throughout the 14th and 15th centuries. The fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans in 1453 ultimately brought the empire to an end. Many refugees who had fled the city after its capture settled in Italy and throughout Europe, helping to ignite the Renaissance. The fall of Constantinople is sometimes used to mark the dividing line between the Middle Ages and the early modern period. Bada bing. That's how you do that. Moving on to the other side, and in the other corner, we have the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, historically and colloquially known as the Turkish Empire, was an empire centered in Anatolia that controlled much of Southeast Europe, West Asia, and North Africa from the 14th to early 20th centuries. It also controlled parts of southeastern Central Europe between early 16th and early 18th centuries. The empire emerged from a beylik or principality founded in northwestern Anatolia in 1299 by the Turkoman tribal leader Osman I. His successors conquered much of Anatolia and expanded into the Balkans by the mid-14th century, transforming their petty kingdom into a transcontinental empire. The Byzantine Empire was ended with the conquest of Constantinople in 1453 under the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, which marked the Ottomans' emergence as a major regional power under Suleiman the Magnificent. The empire reached the peak of its power, prosperity, and political development. Wild. Suleiman. These guys got some cool-ass names. By the start of the 17th century, Ottomans presided over 32 provinces and numerous vassal states, which over time were either absorbed into the empire or granted various degrees of autonomy. With its capital at Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, and control over a significant portion of the Mediterranean basin, the Ottoman Empire was at the center of interactions between the Middle East and Europe for 6 centuries. Hey, Brick, what's going on? Just going to work and see you live, so it'd be rude of you not to say oi oi. Well, oi oi, brother. How are you doing? Talking about some Ottoman versus Byzantine Empire. You have a good day at work, Brick. You have a good day. And regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, fuck them. Regardless, even if it's something good, fuck them, 'cause people. Oh. And anyways, while the Ottoman Empire was once thought to have entered a period of decline after the death of Suleiman the Magnificent, modern academic consensus posits that the empire continued to maintain a flexible and strong economy, society, and military into much of the 18th century. However, during a long period of peace from 1740 to 1768, the Ottoman military system fell behind those of its chief European rivals, the Habsburg and Russian empires. The Ottomans consequently suffered severe military defeats in the late 18th century and early 19th century, culminating in the loss of both territory and global prestige. This prompted a comprehensive process to reform and modernization known as the Tanzimat. Over the course of the 19th century, the Ottoman state became vastly more powerful and organized internally. Despite suffering further territorial losses, especially in the Balkans, where a number of new states emerged. Beginning in the late 19th century, various Ottoman intellectuals sought to further liberalize society and politics along European lines, culminating in the Young Turk Revolution of 1908, led by the Committee of Union and Progress, CUP. CUP. That's awesome. Committee of Union and Progress. CUP. Man. Which established the second constitutional era and introduced competitive multi-party elections under the constitutional monarchy. However, following the disastrous Balkan Wars, the CUP became increasingly radicalized and nationalistic, leading a coup in 1913 that established a one-party regime. Damn it. The CUP allied with the German Empire, hoping to escape from the diplomatic isolation that had contributed to its recent territorial losses. It thus joined World War I on the side of the Central Powers. While the Empire was able to largely hold its own during the conflict, it struggled with internal dissent especially the Arab Revolt. During this period, the Ottoman government engaged in genocide against Armenians, Assyrians, and Greeks. Beats calling it cuck. Ha! Right? In the aftermath of World War I, the victorious Allied powers occupied and partitioned the Ottoman Empire, which lost its southern territories to the United Kingdom and France. A successful Turkish War of Independence, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk against the occupying Allies, led to the emergence of the Republic of Turkey in the Anatolian heartland and the abolition of the Ottoman monarchy in 1922, formally ending the Ottoman Empire. Boom shakalaka. Oh. And moving into the good stuff. The Byzantine-Ottoman Wars were a series of decisive conflicts between the Byzantine Greeks and the Ottoman Turks and their allies that led to a final destruction of the Byzantine Empire and the rise of the Ottoman Empire. The Byzantines, already having been in a weak state even before the partitioning of their empire following the Fourth Crusade, failed to recover fully under the rule of Pelagios dynasty. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck some of these names up. That's gonna happen. Thus, Byzantines faced increasingly disastrous defeats at the hands of the Ottomans. Ultimately, they lost Constantinople in 1453, formally ending the conflicts. Taking advantage of the situation, the Seljuk Turks, the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum began seizing territory in western Anatolia, and the Nicene Empire was able to repulse the Seljuk Turks from remaining territories under Byzantine rule. Eventually, Constantinople was retaken from the Latin Empire by 1261 by the Nicene Empire. The position of Byzantine Empire in Europe remained uncertain due to the presence of the rivals in Epirus, Serbia, and Bulgaria. This, combined with the declining power of the Sultanate of Rum, led to the removal of troops from Anatolia to maintain Byzantium's grip on Thrace. The decay of the Sultanate of Rum brought unexpected instability to the Anatolian frontier, as nobles known as Ghazis began setting up fiefdoms at the expense of Byzantine Empire. While many Turkish beys participated in the conquest of Byzantine and Seljuk territory, the territories under the control of one such bey, Osman I, posed the greatest threat to Nicaea. Hello, mouse. Are you gonna work for me? Thank you. Oh, this is the Pelagios guy. But we're on Osman I. This guy, Osman I, posed the greatest threat to Nicaea and to Constantinople. Within 90 days of Ottoman I's establishment of the Ottoman Beylik, the Byzantines lost all of their Anatolian territory, and by 1400, Byzantine Thrace was also lost to the Ottomans. The Crusade of Nicopolis in 1936, Timur's invasion of 1402, and the Crusade of Varna. Nicopolis, Timur's invasion, and the Crusade of Varna. In 1444, allowed a ruined Constantinople to stave off defeat until it finally fell in 1453. After having taken the city, Ottoman supremacy in the Eastern Mediterranean was largely secured. Now the Ottoman Empire is remembered as furniture. Yep, that's correct. Oh man, what... Isn't there a furniture store that has Empire in it? Damn it. That's actually kind of funny. Imagine if people put their feet on a tiny piece of furniture and called it an American. Well, maybe. Maybe one day. You never know. Asmongold the First. Yes, Asmongold the First. Ha ha. Ah. Following the Byzantine conquest of Constantinople in 1261, the Byzantine Empire was left in an isolated position. there was plenty of talk among the remaining Latin duchies of the Greek mainland and other regions of retaking Constantinople for the Latin Empire. Whilst to the north, another significant threat came from Serbian expansion into the Balkans by King Stefan Uros I. This guy. What was once a strong frontier under the Komnenian dynasty at the Danube River now threatened Constantinople itself. To solve these problems, Michael VIII began consolidating his rule. He had the younger co-emperor John IV blinded. Oh shit. John IV. This is not John IV, but he did have him blinded, which resulted in much resentment. To counter this, the Byzantine Empire installed a new patriarch of Constantinople, Germanus III, ordering him to lift an excommunication that had been placed against him by the former patriarch Arsenios Autorenos, and to submit to the authority of Rome in order to alleviate the Latin threat. Janky picture. He looks drunk in his picture, kind of cross-eyed, shrugging it, looking down. Yeah, I mean, he does. As the Byzantine Empire continued the conquest of Latin territory, the Turks under Osman I began their raids into the Byzantine Anatolia. Sogurt and Exir were taken in 1265 and in 1289 respectively. Michael Palaiologos was unable to deal with these early setbacks due to the need to transfer troops to the west. In 1282, Michael Palaiologos, fuck his name, it's spelled so fucked up, Palaiologos died, and his son Andronikos, there we go, somebody whose name I can fucking pronounce, Andronikos II took power. The death of the old Byzantine emperor came as a relief for the society at large. His policy of Latin appeasement to the church in Rome, heavy taxation, and military expenditure placed a severe burden on the people. As the Ottoman Turks began taking land from the empire, they were seen as liberators of the Anatolians, and many soon converted to Islam under the Byzantine's Orthodox power base. Or undermining the Byzantine's Orthodox power base. Fucked. Andronikos' rule was marked by incompetence and short-sighted decisions that in the long run would damage the Byzantine Empire beyond repair. He began to debase the Byzantine Hyperpian... Weird, never heard of that word before. Resulting in a reduction of the value of Byzantine economy. Taxes were decreased for the powerful, i.e., landed aristocracy, and instead placed upon the knight class pronoia. To popularize his rule, he repudiated the union of the Orthodox and Catholic churches decreed by the Second Council of Lyon in 1274, thereby further increasing hostilities between the Latins and the Byzantines. What an idiot. Andronikos II took a deep interest in preserving the Anatolian lands of Byzantium and ordered construction of forts in Asia Minor and vigorous training of the army. The Byzantine emperor ordered that his court be moved to Anatolia to oversee the campaigns there, and instructed General Alexios Philanthropenos to push back the Turks. Early successes were rendered useless when Alexios staged an unsuccessful coup, leading to his blinding and the end of his campaigns. Damn it. Get blinded. This allowed the Ottomans to lay siege to Nicaea in 1301, a further defeat on Andronikos' son Michael IX. And the Byzantine general George Muzalan occurred at Magnesia and Bephaeus in 1302. Despite this, Andronikos tried once more to strike a decisive blow back at the Turks, this time hiring Catalan mercenaries under the guidance of Michael IX and the leadership of Roger de Fleur. The 6,500-strong Catalan company in the spring and summer of 1303 managed to drive back the Turks. The mercenaries' onslaught drove the Turks back from Philadelphia to Cyzicus, in the process causing great destruction to the Anatolian landscape. Evidently, that's kind of what it looks like over there in Greek territory. Once again, these gains were thwarted by internal matters. Roger de Fleur was assassinated. And in revenge, his company began pillaging the Anatolian countryside. When they finally left in 1307 to attack Byzantine Thrace, locals welcomed the Ottomans, who once again began blockading key fortresses in Asia Minor. The Ottomans were able to build on their military success due to the numerous divisions amongst their opponents. Many of the peasant classes in Anatolia saw the Ottomans as better masters. Looks pretty. Platypus Cigarius Augustocratus. Alright. Interesting, Bintalk. Looks pretty. Yeah, I mean, I hear Greece is actually like that whole area is very, very, like, unique. There's only one way to really put it, right? I mean, it's kind of like going to the fjord. There's nothing really like that other than the fjord, right? You have to go to Norway and fucking Sweden for that shit. After these defeats, Andronikos was in no position to send substantial forces. In 1320, Andronikos the second grandson, Andronikos the third, dude kinda looks Scandinavian with that beard. I don't know. Andronikos the third was disinherited following the death of his father, Michael IX, the emperor's son, and their heir apparent. This following year, Andronikos III retaliated by marching on Constantinople and was given Thrace as an appeal. They kind of gave it to him, was like, alright, fine, you want something? Here. We'll give you Thrace. Here you go. That's it. That's all you get. Yes, he does have a black eye in that painting. Evidently, he was not a popular guy. He kept on pressing for his inheritance and in 1322 was made co-emperor. So he didn't even give him full power. They're just like, bruh, if it'll shut you up, fine. Holy complainer. Oh. This culminated in the Byzantine Civil War of 1321-28, which Serbia backed Andronikos II and the Bulgarians backed his grandson. Eventually, Andronikos III emerged triumphant on May 23, 1328, as he was the bigger crybaby. Oh, I'm just kidding. As Andronikos III consolidated his hold on Byzantium, the Ottomans succeeded in taking Bursa from the Byzantines in 1326. Oh, man. The fate of Nicaea was sealed when the Byzantine relief army was defeated at Pelikanos on the 10th of June, 1329. In 1391, Nicaea surrendered, resulting in a massive blow due to its strategic position relative to Constantinople. Yep. Once again, the Byzantines' military power was depleted and Andronikos III were forced into a diplomacy as his grandfather was before him. In return for the safety of the remaining Byzantine settlements in Asia Minor, tribute would be paid to the Ottomans. Unfortunately for the Byzantine Empire, this did not stop the Ottomans from laying siege to Nicomedia in 1333. The city finally fell in 1337. Despite these setbacks, Andronikos III was able to score a few successes against his opponents in Greece and Asia Minor. Epirus along with Thessaly were retaken. In 1329, the Byzantines recaptured Chios and in 1335 secured Lesbos. Oh, why would you secure Lesbos? That crown looks like a neat piece of ornamentary. Some composite bows. Yeah, buddy. Do I like old shit, man? When you actually had to have some kind of skill, it wasn't just like, okay, I'm gonna let the computer do 90% of the work. Man, good old days when human beings were capable of shit, man. Capable of shit. Nonetheless, these isolated islands were isolated exceptions to the general trend of increasing Ottoman conquest. Yeah, they were minimal. Minimal. If anything, they were just kind of like complementary pieces of land. Furthermore, none of the islands were part of the Ottoman domain. The capture demonstrates the potential that the Byzantines had at the time of Andronikos III. Yeah, you captured nothing because they weren't a part of the Ottoman Empire. They're just kind of there. Like I said, they were complementary. It's not like the Ottomans really went in there and enforced anything. It's a shit ton of small islands. Byzantine military ability would be further weakened by Serbian expansions into recent acquisitions by Andronikos III, Epirus, and finally by a devastating civil war that would subjugate the Byzantine Empire as a vassal to the Ottomans. Destroyed. Andronikos III died in 1341, leaving his 10-year-old son John V. Oh shit, Byzantine Civil War, look at that. John V. Holy shit, we lost our capability, I'm telling you. Now we just cry when we're hungry and sleep in late. No kidding. No kidding. They're killing the guy with the best beard in that picture. Yeah. Yeah, I mean... They probably killed a lot of guys with the best beard, considering that it was a civil war. They all had the same beard. At any rate, John V, with his head halfway cut off, a regency was set up with John Cantacuzenius. Jesus, these names. John Cantacuzenius. This guy. The young emperor's mother, Anna of Savoy. Look at that face. She is not very happy about it. Not very happy at all. And the patriarch, John XIV, Caelchus, who was also probably had a seizure at some point, because his statue makes him look very lazily left side of his face. John Consentus? Can't Consentus? Yeah, exactly. I disapprove the one before this. Yeah. Rivalries between Celchus and... Oh, god damn it. Cantacuzenus led to a destructive civil war, which Cantacuzenus emerged triumphant at Constantinople in February 1347. During this time, plague! Oh, we all know about the plague. Earthquakes and Ottoman raiding continued until only Philadelphia remained in the Byzantine hands, and only so by payment of a tribute. Yeah, plague. Shit. What a terrible time to live. Throughout the Civil War, the Byzantines on both sides employed Turks and Serbs with mercenaries pillaging at will, leaving much of Macedonia in ruin and in the hands of the newly created Serbian Empire. Meanwhile, plague. Following this victory, Cantacuzenus ruled as co-emperor with John V. Man, sometimes I think the painters and sculptors gave the royalty a bug eye or made them look drunk or gave them a black eye because they didn't like them. Dude, I wouldn't doubt it. That's actually hilarious. That's a really, really good take. I like that. I wouldn't fucking doubt it, Bintok. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Shit. Ah. This dual rule eventually failed, and the two waged a new civil war, further diminishing what was left of Byzantium's integrity in the eyes of her troublesome neighbors. And still, meanwhile, the plague. John VI, Cantacuzenus, emerged triumphant once again, and replaced the now exiled John V Paleologos with his son Matthew Cantacuzenus. Oh, that's not Matthew Cantacuzenus. That's up next. We're not quite to that guy yet. As junior co-emperor. However, the Turks, under Osman the First, who also has a lazy eye. Oh, sorry. The Turks under Osman I's son, Orhan I. This is Orhan I with his lazy eye. Yes, Orhan I, lazy eye guy. Now came into play by capturing the fort of Gallipoli in 1354, and gaining access to the European mainland. The arrival of the seemingly unbeatable Ottoman soldiers surrounding Constantinople caused a panic in Constantinople, capitalized by John V, who, with the assistance of Genoese, staged a coup outside of John VI Cantacuzenus in November 1354. Holy shit, these names. As a result, John VI would later become a monk. The Civil War did not end there. And still, meanwhile, the plague. Matthew Cantacuzenus now obtained troops from Orhan and began a bid for taking Constantinople. His capture in 1356 ended his dreams of becoming emperor, and with it came an ephemeral defeat for the Ottomans, who had favored the overthrow of John V. Following the end of the civil conflict came a small lull in fighting between the expanding Ottomans and Byzantines. In 1361, Diddy, and I don't mean P. Diddy, I mean Diddy Matechun, fell to the Turks. Orhan's successor, Murad the First. Oh, that's Alp Arslan. What the hell? Oh yeah, okay. Was more concerned with his Anatolian positions. However, just like Alp Arslan, this guy, of the Seljuk Turks, Murad the First left the taking of Byzantine territory to his vassals with Philippopolis. Murad the First. Philippopolis falling after major campaigning between 1363 and 64, and Adrianople succumbing to the Ottomans in 1369. Figures they're related, yeah, serious. The Byzantine Empire was in no position to launch any decent counterattack or defense of these lands. By now, the Ottomans had become supremely powerful. Murad I crushed an army of Serbians on the 26th of September 1371 at the Battle of Maritsa, leading to the end of Serbian power. The Ottomans were now poised to conquer Constantinople. In an attempt to stave off defeat, John V appealed to the Pope for support, offering a submission to Rome in return for military support. He basically tried to call for another crusade. Despite publicly confessing to the Roman Catholic faith in the St. Peter's Basilica, man, they just don't make buildings like they used to. Look at this fucking place. Holy moly. Like, dang. Now what do we have? A bunch of plain nonsense. They don't make them like they used to. Holy moly. John V received no help. John V, therefore, was forced to turn to reason with his enemies, the Ottomans. Murad I and John V then came to an agreement whereby Byzantium would provide regular tribute in troops and money in exchange for security. But seriously, though, look at that building. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if, we still built shit with that kind of architecture? That level of detail? Man, who trains for that detail? No kidding. That's what I'm saying. Nope, they don't, and they don't have the skill to make them either. No, they don't. What a time to live. Meanwhile, the plague. But seriously though, that fucking building is epic. By now, the Ottomans had essentially won the war. Byzantium was reduced to a few settlements other than Constantinople and was forced to recognize its vassal states to the Ottoman Sultan. This vassalage continued until 1394. However, whilst Constantinople had been neutralized, the surrounding Christian powers were still a threat to the Ottomans, and Asia Minor was not under complete Ottoman control. The Ottomans continued to thrust into the Balkans deeply. I'm just kidding. Providing to be great conquerors in Europe as they were in Anatolia. In 1385, Sofia was captured from the Bulgarians, and Nice was taken the following year. Meanwhile, various other smaller states were subjugated as vassals, including the Serbs following the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. Much of Bulgaria was taken in 1393 by Bezid I. By 1396, the Bulgarians had been entirely subjugated when Vidin fell. Wild. The Ottoman Empire, just for context. They went in, buddy. Ottoman advances into the Balkans were aided further by the Byzantine civil conflict, this time between John V and his eldest son Andronikos IV. Andronikos IV. With With Ottoman aid from Murad I, John V was able to blind Andronikos IV and his son John VII, Palaiologos. In September 1373, Andronikos escaped with his son and secured Murad's aid by promising a higher tribute than John V's. The civil strife continued as late as September 1390, though a potential for conflict continued until 1408. John V eventually forgave Andronikos IV and his son in 1381, angering his second son, heir apparent Manuel II. Palaiologos. Damn it. I'm just gonna stop saying the fucking last name. He seized Thessalonica, alarming the Ottoman Sultan and liberating parts of Greece from Ottoman rule. The death of Andronikos IV in 1385 and the capitulation of Thessalonica in 1387 to Hayreddin Pasha encouraged Manuel II to seek the forgiveness of Sultan and John V. His increasingly close relationship with John V angered John VII, who saw his right as the heir threatened. John VII launched a coup against John V, but despite the Ottoman and Genoese aid, his reign lasted a mere 5 months before he was toppled by Manuel II and his father. Dang. In the year 1390, Bayezid I sent a fleet to burn down Chios and surrounding market towns, Euboea, parts of Attica, and the islands of the archipelago. He destroyed every market town and village from Bithynia to Thrace on to the outskirts of Constantinople and deported all the inhabitants. Man, where's Shane with the war crimes? Shit. Not only did he burn down all their shit, loot all their stuff, and kick them the fuck out, too. Shit. It took them like 60 years plus to make them, I think, probably, and the economy for construction now charges a lot more when converting to back then it would have been hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. That's why people get no detail, like $5 million mansions. Construction was cheaper, and craftsmanship was better, and the time people spent on building were in completely different worlds. No kidding, Bentok. You are not wrong. Whilst the Civil War was raging, the Turks in Anatolia took the opportunity to siege Philadelphia in 1390, marking the end of Byzantine rule in Anatolia, although by now the city had long been under only nominal imperial rule, and its fall was of little strategic consequence to the Byzantines. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why it was a pretty quick, just kind of swoop in and take the shit, you know what I mean? Following John V's death, Manuel II was able to secure his throne and establish good relations with the Sultan, becoming his tributary. In return for Ottoman acceptance of his reign, Manuel II was forced to dismantle the fortifications at the Golden Gate, something that he did not take lightly too. And that is all of the stuff that I have for us today. We will finish the rest of it mañana, tomorrow night. We will finish the Byzantine-Ottoman wars and go on to some other Ottoman stuff, because why not? Why not just make it Ottoman October? I mean, shit. In all reality, y'all can still make requests at any time for whatever war you want me to go over. Conflict or, Empire versus Empire. However, on Halloween, I will be doing Vlad the Impaler. The Ottoman invasion of Wallachia. We'll be doing some Vlad the Impaler. We're gonna get into all kinds of gore. It's gonna be fucking gnarly. That's gonna be a fantastic episode. That one's already pre-planned. It was actually requested a long time ago. It's like one of the first requests I got when I started doing this. So yeah. Vlad the Impaler on Halloween. That'll be fucking awesome. It was the supreme irony that after all their lives, wars, kings, and queens, they have faded into obscurity and become furniture. So much history. No kidding. No kidding. Just don't put your feet on it or your grandma's gonna beat your ass. Keep your feet off the Ottoman, damn it. Not for feet. Definitely not for children's feet. Oh. Shit. That's fucking funny. Agreed, it will be awesome. Oh, dude, it will be. I fucking, like, that's one I already know a shit ton about. So it's probably gonna end up being a really fucking long episode. I'm gonna spend like 3 hours on Vlad the Impaler. It's gonna be epic. Because I'm not just gonna get into like the Ottoman invasion is just one of the more horrific things, right? I'm gonna go into like the greater scope of his life and shit too, right? We're gonna actually get into detail in it. It's gonna be brutal. It's probably gonna be make YouTube a little mad, but you know what? It's all being talked about within a historical context. It happened, and people need to know about it. It is history, and it's taught in school, so it can be talked about on YouTube. That's all I gotta say. Can't get mad at me for talking about Vlad the Impaler, impaling people. So much so that it created a miasma of rotting fucking, yeah, they smelt that shit for miles. But Grandma, Damien, that is what it was for my feet. Yeah, well, my grandmother didn't like my feet on any of the furniture. You sit on the Ottoman temporarily. You don't put your feet on the Ottoman. You put your feet on the floor. Fuck. But I like to sit cross-legged. Well, then sit cross-legged on the floor. Don't put your feet on my couch or I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay. Okay. I won't put my feet on your couch. I don't feel like getting a wet wooden spoon. That shit hurts. That shit hurts bad. You know what I'm saying? Hurts bad. Ain't nobody likes that shit. Man. What else was I going to... Oh, yeah, the Hungarian-Ottoman Wars. That's another thing I was going to cover. Which kind of includes Wallachia. But that's going to be like moving into Halloween. It's going to be Hungarian-Ottoman Wars. So get ready for that. That's going to be pretty awesome, too. Got a lot of good shit coming up. Yeah. Shoot. Every single citizen in the Ottoman Empire had their own story called their lives. I'm a lover of stories. Such a wealth of emotion and experience found its way through the Ottoman Empire and its people. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yep, there was a lot going on there. Unfortunately, they didn't fucking record a lot of it until the later portion, like the 14th century. Fucking assholes. Like, they literally didn't record anything for the longest fucking time. And then they're just like, oh, well, you know what? We should probably start writing stuff. Yes. Document you, like, holy shit. I respect their stories and the resolve they had moving through life. No kidding, because they all lived in a desert. But that's okay, because, you know, I'm gonna be moving to the desert soon. And I fucking love the desert. Man. It's one of the best places on the planet, in my opinion. Shit. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy the desert. I enjoy it. Wait, hold on. Oh, shit. Fucking. Whoa, now. My computer is being all fucking fucked up with it. Hold up now. Hold up now. What the hell is going on with this fucking computer? Wild. Okay. Computer's all fucking weirded out. Had to update. That's why I was kind of late starting the stream. It's like, fuck. And then, rushed through the reading a little bit, because fucking shit. That is because they were using the dinosaurs to build the pyramids. If they recorded their history, you would know that. It's a good night. Yep. They did use the... according to JS, right? That's what they did. They used the dinosaurs. Oh, by the way, there is going to be more military fart in the beginning of this fucking video, right? So this is just the first segment of Season 2. So the way this is going to go down, it's the same kind of way it went down last season, right? At the beginning of Battle Tactics and War Strategies, I had one song. And I don't know if it's on the first episode or if I ended up adding the second song before I did the first episode. But initially I was going to do one song for half the season and then add to the video, right? And make the intro a little bit longer. So this is just the first one, right? When I add the second part to Season 2 intro, there will be A10 and all kinds of other shit going on. Just throwing that out there. Like, each intro video is going to get developed as time goes on, because I can't stand being overly repetitive with my shit. So, like, considering that I go back and rewatch every stream to kind of see what I could change and what I could do differently, and, like, what I fucked up last time, or try and recognize things like, for instance, me fucking up names, right? Is a pretty big part of the fucking show. And it just became that way because I fucking suck with names. I didn't know that until starting this. And now I've discovered that, and it's like, well, instead of just practicing the names pre-stream, I might as well just read the name off like it's a fucking brand new name to me, and it's just gonna be funny the same way, right? Like, I don't have to remove that. That's a part of the show. But, like, in order to discover things like that, or things that I do want to remove, I do have to go back and rewatch my own stream. And if it's not entertaining to me, then I can guarantee you it's not going to be entertaining to anybody else. And if I start to feel like it's a little bit too repetitive, then I can guarantee you other people are going to start to feel like it's too repetitive, right? So, like, to keep it as equally entertaining for me as it is for everybody else, considering I'm the one that's doing it, right? It's already going to be less entertaining for me because it's still technically working on it when I'm doing it, but, like, still, right? I'd rather be watching something interesting than watching something boring. So, while I do try to make every episode an improvement on the last, I also do welcome feedback of any kind. Make sense? Yeah. So, don't be afraid to fucking comment on the videos if you watch a video after I've gone live or whatever and you have some kind of feedback and you're like, dude, you should do this or fucking, blah, 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 that. Fucking let it be known, man. I'm not gonna get mad. I take constructive criticism very well. Even criticism that's not intended to be constructive criticism, I take as constructive criticism because I'm not a fan of getting butthurt and being a crybaby about some shit people say online. If it's actually good feedback, I'll fucking take it for what it is. But hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, that's actually good feedback. Thank you. even if it could be perceived as negative in any way. It's not really. It's just feedback. It's someone's opinion. I think a lot of creators fail to recognize that fact, and they get caught up in their feels. Oh, this person said this or this person said that. Yeah, they gave you some feedback. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You gonna cry about it? Like, no. I'm not gonna bitch and moan about my damn comments. I mean, fuck, man, I get blasted for half the shit I say on Twitter. I'm not worried about YouTube comments. Like, kidding me? Fuck. The comment section. But I do appreciate the feedback, though, honestly. A good way to check the quality, the only thing you can control is how you react to what other people say, after all. Exactly. Right? And if I take it all in stride and it's all just, I take it as feedback, like, hey, fuck it. I can either choose to apply or not apply that feedback and move on with my life. I don't have to get stuck on it. Nobody has to live in my head rent-free. Fucking A. I be charging rent up in this motherfucker. My brain power is much too busy being spent on other shit like designing airplanes or whatever the fuck else I'm doing currently at that moment in time. Like the last couple days, learning about the Ottoman Byzantine War so I could bring you guys some content. Why let your mind feel bad? It would be a waste. Exactly. Been talked. You're smart. You're smart, and I appreciate you coming into my chat, man. Fuck. The legend. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and call it for the night. I do have to go walk my dogs and then get some sleep. So, I hope you, Bintalk, and everybody else have a wonderful night, morning, afternoon, or evening. Doesn't matter wherever you're at in the world. Enjoy that time, 'cause you never know. World War III could just spark up yesterday, and we'd be in the midst of it in 10 minutes. Well, a shitty situation that would be, it's still a possibility. It's not a provocation to live in fear, because I would never advocate for living in fear, but I am a heavy advocate for enjoying your fucking time, because it could be limited. Like I just pointed out, you never know what could fucking happen. And what I did point out is actually a greater possibility than anything I've ever stated on this fucking stream at the end of it before. And everything has been ridiculous and different, I get it, but that one's a real possibility. So, might want to actually just start enjoying your time if you're not. You get to choose what you do with what you do. Ottoman, not Autumna. Autumn, nom, 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 nom. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good one. Yeah, thanks. You too. I will catch you guys next time. The outro is going to be kind of long because the old intro is now a part of the outro as well as the new intro. So enjoy yourselves to some music, some death, some explosions, some gore, whatever the fuck goes on in my intro and outro videos that is undisclosed. I'm just kidding. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you next time.
just wish he knew. I just wish he knew.